Welcome. You're watching HLN Now. Brand new developments in the hot car death case. Again, it's a headline that's just even difficult to read when you think of 22-month-old Cooper Harris dying a horrific death inside of a car, and his own father, Ross, is charged with murder. Here's what we have. Said it. All right. Dr. Erik Fisher's with us, Dr. E. And again, this is down the road, but some have said on this program, and we get your take on it, that, hey, one reason to have a rear-facing car seat is because you couldn't bear to look at little Cooper because you knew what you were going to do.
Right, right. And I think even if you look at that he is found to have committed this crime, one thing you have to consider is that his grief may have been real. It's very easy to plot a crime like this and see somebody as an object, and this child is not necessarily your child because it's just a person that you're trying to remove from a situation. Again, as if this is how it plays out. But when he realizes what he did, the grief and the permanency of that loss could have resulted in that show of emotion that he had, that a lot of people have discussed.
Right. And Ebony, that goes back to, again, what we heard at the problem. Absolutely. And it's not only what she said, but we're watching some of the video there, many questioning her demeanor in court as she's chomping on gum. Dr. E, help us out here. People at home see this and go, wait a minute, your little 22-month-old died a horrific death, and that's the way you're going to act.
Well, you know, I always look at these cases as a psychologist and a scientist, and I'm collecting data, so I always look at things from two angles. The one side is we don't know how numb she is from this whole experience. You know, she lost her husband, she lost her child in this situation as she's seeing it evolve. And the other side is if this was a premeditated case or situation, then, yeah, she's got her walls up, her distance up, and potentially there is somebody who could be pretty cold-hearted or cold-blooded in how she handled the situation. The rest will be hopefully bear out as they collect evidence, and we'll hopefully understand a little more about what her motivations were behind that behavior in the courtroom.
All right, you guys are weighing in as well as our experts. You can tweet me at Mike. Here's a Facebook post from Fast Lenny. Do I think he meant to do it? Certainly not. But I do believe his mind was elsewhere, thinking about online girls or whatever, which sadly took precedence over his child. All right, Dr. E, according again to the probable cause hearing, he's sexting 6 different women, having conversations with them while little Cooper is dying. Can you get that hell-bent on sexting that you forget your own child?
People can. I mean, you have to think about things that happen in somebody's home. When somebody leaves a child in the bathtub, they get distracted by something on the stove, and kids drown in the bathtub in a very short period of time. Where we store long-term memory and short-term memory are different, as well as how we pay attention and shift attention in our brain happens in different areas of the brain. These are all very complex functions that we take for granted. But if somebody is totally distracted by their sexting behavior, which some people would equate with potentially an addiction, then their mind is always thinking about, when do I get my next fix? You know, and if he's thinking about that in his mind, he could have run through, oh yeah, I dropped him off, and superimposing another day that he dropped him off on that because he has to get back to this behavior. Does it happen often? Absolutely not. Could it happen? Yes, it could.
Okay. And to that point, Mike, really quickly, that would still satisfy the crime that he is being charged with. Remember, the underlying felony here right now is based off criminal negligence, and so, you know, that still satisfies that requirement, making him guilty of felony murder.
Got it. Okay, back to the phones. Look at my list here. Karen's with us, Tennessee. Here, let me get a Facebook post out there. This from Jennifer asking, I find it bizarre that Ross kissed his son goodbye at the breakfast place instead of at the daycare. Most parents kiss their children when they drop them off at school. And again, Dr. E, this deals with the, you know, kind of that inference that this was some kind of a goodbye kiss, and odd that it would be done at the restaurant versus they're in the parking lot, or, you know, when he actually would have dropped him off.
That is an interesting point to raise. You know, if, again, there's a situation of premeditation there, obviously it lends itself to that. You know, if it was a very affectionate father or not. It might be that when he got an opportunity to give his son a kiss, he might have done that. So those are some things we have to consider, is what was the more habitual behavior between them that we look at from the outside as a single incident rather than understanding the entire gauge, a range of behavior.
Doctor, you just mentioned habitual behavior that investigators are looking at. Did he park in the same spot? What was the routine communications with Leanna? All of that's being looked at, and we'll keep you posted on that. Much more HLN Now coming up. Stay with us.